What's going on? So I got to ask the interesting question. What was George Benson's peak and prime? The cat had done jazz and played with a who's who back in the 60s and what have you, and did cover songs, etc. But it was around 76 when the Breeze and Rucket, when he did that Bobby Womack cover, and then later on live in LA and everything. And then his Warner Brothers years when he went to Quest Records with Quincy Jones and Give Me the Night and all that with Rod Temperton and all that. And then he worked with Kashif, Love So Personal. Uh, Worked with Jay Graydon, the same cats who worked with Al Jarreau, and Turn Your Love Around, all that. He an incredible career. Incredible career. I always say that this is why music is so subjective and it's hard to really put things because you can't really when you look at George Benson, he's the only cat where people were getting dissed by sounding too commercial and whatnot. He was putting out jazz, pop, and R&B records and not missing a beat. He could cover so many ranges and bases, and I don't think he's gotten his full totality of his versatility. Because to me, he's one of the most distinctive guitarists I've ever heard. I think from a tone perspective, he's top 10 ever. From a tone perspective. And I can almost put him up against so many people easily. It's not so much about a solo, but it's the meticulous notes. And then you hear his vocal tone through the guitar, which is so rare that he has a voice on the instrument that you know that's Benson. And yet, we know where he got that from a Wes Montgomery amongst others. But just saying, Charlie Christian, I can go on with pre guitarists, but George Benson has a coded language of his own, which an incredible career. Incredible. So the peak prime, I'd probably say somewhere between 76 to about 83. I think that's peak prime as far as a commercial aesthetic, I would say, if you're going by that. And then to mention the fact that the cat was able to blend and to do different things and harmonious and make it work, because I mean, he really did his due diligence and his musical homework where he, put so much into perspective. So, um, that's what I would probably say. I think that the man's Hall of Fame worthy. I think the man that left a lasting impact, lasting mark. Um, you can't begin to say enough about the the way that he has been able to uh, showcase his musical gifts, his talents, his distinct, just an amazing talent. So, that's where I stand on George Benson. And yeah, remember he did the greatest love of all pre Whitney Houston for the Ali movie, and so he had did all that. He was really, and that was before stuff got commercialized. And again, they didn't really even highlight his versatility, which almost to me almost gets taken for granted. Because cats like him and Al Jarreau, just like, and the female equivalent would have been Phyllis Hyman and Angela Bofield and Aretha Franklin. They're people that can go A through Z with styles and vibes, and you can't even begin to fathom it unless, of course, you really into being a musical historian. Because to appreciate that totality, you understand they're in their own orbit. There's unlike anyone like them, you know. And I haven't seen another cat that was jazz based that got to be able to do all the different things that Benson was able to do. That you want to say Al Jarreau that was able to, but I mean George Benson did it in a different level because he's putting out different styles of albums and just rolling with it. So, but I'd say peak and prime would probably be about 76 to 83 if I'm being honest. If I'm using it for the commercial aesthetics, especially with the R&B pop thing when he was doing everything all combined. But still an incredible run though, nevertheless though. But let me know what you think below in the comments. Please hit like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments. And I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shitter if you like and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.